Would you like to hear another bedtime story? This is another Grimm fairy tale, and again, it's one of my favorites. It's a little derivative of Rumpelstiltskin, but it's actually a lot more humorous than Rumpelstiltskin. And this one is called The Three Spinsters. There was once a lazy girl who would not spin, and let her mother say what she would, she could not get her to work. At last the mother, getting both angry and impatient, gave her a blow, which made the girl cry very loud. Just then the queen, passing by, heard the noise, and, stopping the carriage, she stepped into the house and asked the mother why she beat her daughter in such a way that the passers-by in the street heard her shrieks. The mother, however, was ashamed that her daughter's laziness should be known, and said, "I cannot make her leave off spinning. She will spin for ever, and I am so poor that I cannot procure the flax." The queen replied, "I never heard anything I like better than spinning, and I am never more pleased than when the wheels are whirring. Let your daughter go with me to the castle. I have flax enough, and she may spin as much as she pleases." The mother was very glad at heart, and the queen took the girl home with her. As soon as they entered the castle, she led her up into 3 rooms, which were all full of the finest flax from top to bottom. "Now, spin this flax for me," said the queen, "and when you have prepared it all, you shall have my eldest son for a husband. Although you are poor, I do not despise you on that account. Your unwearied industry is dowry enough." The girl, however, was inwardly frightened, for she could not have spun the flax had she sat there from morning till night, until she was 300 years old. When she was left alone, she began to cry, and thus sat 3 days without stirring a hand. On the 3rd day the queen came, and when she saw that nothing was yet spun, she wondered, and the maiden excused herself by saying that she had not been able to begin yet, on account of her great sorrow at leaving her mother's house. So the queen was satisfied, but on leaving she said, "You must begin to work for me tomorrow." As soon as the girl was again alone, she did not know how to act or help herself. In her vexation, she went and looked out the window. She saw 3 women passing by, the first of whom had a broad, flat foot, the second such a large underlip that it reached nearly to her chin, and the third a very big thumb. They stopped before the window, and looking up, asked the girl what she wanted. She told them her trouble, and they offered her their help, saying, "Will you invite us to the wedding, and not be ashamed of us, but call us your aunties, and let us sit at your table? If you do all these, we will spin the flax in a very short time for you." "With all my heart," replied the girl. "Come in and begin at once." Then she let in these 3 women, and, making a clear place in the first room, they sat themselves down and began spinning. One drew the thread and trod the wheel, the other moistened the thread, and the third pressed it and beat with their fingers on the table. And as often as she did so, a pile of thread fell on the ground, which was spun in the finest manner. The girl hid the 3 spinsters, however, from the queen, and showed her, as often as she came, the heaps of spun yarn, so that she received no end of praise. When the first room was empty, the 3 women went to the second, and at length to the third, and so that soon all was cleared out. Now the 3 spinsters took leave, saying to the girl, "Do not forget what you promised us. It will make a fortune." When the girl showed the queen the empty rooms and the great pile of thread, the wedding was performed, and the bridegroom was glad that he had such a clever and industrious wife, and praised her exceedingly. "I have 3 aunts," said the girl, "who have done me much service, so I would not willingly forget them in my good fortune. Allow me, therefore, to invite them to the wedding, and sit with me at the table." The queen and the bridegroom asked, "Why should we not allow it?" When the feast was begun, the 3 old maids entered in great splendor, and the bride said, "You are welcome, dear aunties." "Ah," said the bridegroom, "how do you come by such ugly friends? and going up to the one with the big foot, he asked, "Why have you such a broad foot?" From treading, she replied. Then he went to the second and asked, "Why have you such an overhanging lip?" "From licking," she answered, "from licking." And then asked the third, "Why have you such a broad thumb?" "From pressing the thread," she replied, "from pressing the thread." At this the prince was frightened, and said, "Therefore my bride shall never touch a spinning wheel again." And so she was set free from the unlucky flax spinning. I told you it was funny. Anyway, it's a short one, but I hope you liked it. And, as always, no matter where you are, or when and where you're listening to this, please have a good morning, a pleasant afternoon, a beautiful evening, and very, very sweet dreams. Good night.